Hey.
This is why we kill them.
If there's a hose, I would hose it off, but if there isn't, it'll be alright.
Blue crab.
Oh yeah, look at those claws, look at that.
So now,
And that's not a tiny crab.
No.
no, that's actually a nice sized crab. So
That's a knuckle. So that probably would have been a large, maybe even eater crab.
So I would see this as at least 2 crabs in here.
So that's the big kicker with this, right?
Yeah.
Is you have this super invasive fish that eats everything, and this is the economy of Maryland right here.
well, there's the claw.
That claw looks a lot bigger than that one, so, and this knuckle's a lot bigger.
Yeah,
I
it
think
is
there's
two
different
crabs.
Yeah, it's actually 2 crabs.
And there's
This is the Chesapeake Bay, definitely where I grew up, where I crab all summer long, and where I fish all year long. But the blue catfish, they don't belong here. They were introduced many years ago, and now they are everywhere. They're eating almost everything, even the crabs we all love. So today, I'm going to be doing something a little different. Electrofishing. I have never done it before. I think it's so cool. So we're going to be going out and electrofishing blue catfish. I'm heading out with fishery biologist Liam, Miss Ann, and Noah Bressman from Salisbury University and Maryland's DNR, Department of Natural Resources. All right, the way it works is that we're going to send a specific electric current through the water, which will let the fish float up stunned. Now, don't worry, it doesn't kill them. It just lets us get them to collect them for research. And trust me, there's a lot of them. Now, this current specifically will only affect scaleless fish. It won't mess with your bass, perch, and stuff like that. Just your scaleless fish. So specifically, just catfish. Some nice size ones, not the big ones we're looking for. Blue catfish were introduced in Virginia decades ago for sport fishing, but they've definitely taken over fast. They're now one of the most dominant predators in the bay, and it's throwing everything out of balance. There are millions of these things, and every one we take out really helps. So while you're doing that, tell me exactly just the whole reason why we went to 3 different sites.
Sure.
And then one of the big things for me, because I knowing this river a little bit, why we couldn't go further down the river was one of the big things that that really.
So the big kicker there is, the 3 sites are the 3 zones of salinity, right?
Salinity, right?
So there's Eurohaline, the really salty, the mesohaline, the middle salty. Oligohaline. Yeah. I was thinking oligothropic, but that's lake type, and that's not salinity.
No.
But yeah, so we want to kind of characterize the population structure in all 3 of those salinity types. And so that's kind of the 3 spots that we electrofish.
Now, when it comes to electrofishing, you were saying we couldn't go because the more salinity, the electrofishing actually doesn't really work well.
Yeah, so the salinity increases the resistance. So when we're pumping current through the water, we have to hit fish, and that current has to expand. But when you have that much resistance because of the salt water, you're not hitting fish.
Right. So
You're going to overload your gear. So that generator is going to try to produce as much current as it can to meet the voltage and the amperage that you've set on the generator.
right.
But if it can't meet that, it's going to immediately overload, and you'll never be able to run current through it. So that we maxed out our gear around that 3,000 to 2,500 specific inductance, which comes out to about 2 to 1.5 parts per thousand.
So basically,
Roughly,
for dummies like me,
Yeah.
is that the saltier the water is down there. The electric fishing didn't, so they went as far as they could before it was. They went as far as they could to where the line was, where they couldn't get anything. So as they worked their way up, it's actually getting fresher water. But as you come up here, you start seeing more bass fishing, and your bass. But as you start getting down there, you don't get as much bass fishing further down the river because of the salt water coming in.
But if you get like later in today, like we went higher up and we're still struggling with the salinity because the tide had come in, bringing some more salty water up too, and so the tide is a big factor influencing. Like if it's low tide, we can go down lower river. If it's high tide, we have to go up higher river because it's moving more of that salt water.
Well, there's a balancing act too, right? So you need a little bit of conductance to pull some current through. Like you need something for that ion to catch the electricity, right? It's got to go from point A to point B.
Right.
If you have no salt in the water, it's not going to go from point A to point B. You got to draw more power to make that fish get hit for the effectiveness, so to speak.
Cool.
So as you go further up, that effectiveness also kind of goes down a little bit.
It's a balancing act between conductivity, along with water temperature can influence it sometimes too, tides, and you kind of have to balance that. All right, and that's why it takes training to use that gear to know what kind of electricity to run in these conditions without overloading the generator.
And we were changing current the entire time. They didn't really talk about that, but as he's moving up into those upper sites, we were changing the amperage and the voltage appropriately to successfully shock fish. You're
And
not
if you-
going to have the same settings on that generator control box in the saltier water as you do up towards
The fresher
those upper
water.
sites.
They're trying to get rid of all the catfish and everything, and I said, man, if there was a way to do this electric fishing and bring a bunch of commercial guys in and dip the commercial guys can just dip them as them guys are running electric, I think will help. It's never gonna get rid of them. The biomass is ridiculous. You keep saying it's crazy.
The goal is to keep them low enough to reduce their impact. We're not going to get rid of them, but low enough, and the goal is to make a long-term sustainable fishery. So something I've been working, like I'm on the Invasive Catfish Advisory Committee for the DNR that helps make the regulations for catfish, and we've been working with kind of helping establish with the DNR regulations for like a pilot study to assess how effective is commercial electrofishing. And it's doing this originally, basically 3 out of the 50 or something commercial watermen that applied are going to be the test pilots for this. They'll bring their boats with the nets provided and gloves from the DNR to scoop fish up. But we're doing this as a pilot study, kind of limited the scale of it because we don't want to say to people, hey, go get these really expensive boats. Next year actually didn't work out too well. 5 people died
from being electrocuted swimming in the water.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
So start off with training, like making sure it is effective first before people get before DNR trains people and to use this equipment safely, knowing how to use the night kind of conductivity. And also if we find it just ends up not being the most effective method, it's not, but we are seeing, like as you saw today, low frequency electrofishing seems to just target blue catfish and other catfish and not other fish, whereas high frequency electrofishing, which is normally done, is much more limited in range and it's much more limited in range and hits a lot more species, so there's a lot more bycatch. And it's also like a training period because we don't want get through a school of striped bass and have commercial watermen netting up all of those with these nets, which would then have the ones catching them hook and line complaining why do they get to do this and all that.
And
so
one more thing is that, so it's the frequency, you say when you got the low frequency, so when you're talking about out here and you're saying, well, why isn't messing all the fish up, or why isn't bass coming up or perch or anything, and they were saying because of the low frequency, it's only going to mess with fish that has no scales, and I thought that was really interesting.
Yep. Yeah, so there are some other fish species that have modified scales. So like sturgeon do get affected by low frequency.
That's why you can't get. You were telling me you can't go on the Marshy Hope or anything.
Yeah, so this project
we
originally.
do it sometimes, but we avoid the sturgeon season when they're going to be in there.
Yeah. Up your cooler for now. I gotta get that. 33, 34
inches.
Inches. Okay.
No, it's probably
like 8 pounds.
Yeah, that's about right. I would say that's
probably
12.
12. I'm
15.
gonna go 13.5.
All right, I'm gonna go 13.
I'm gonna go. It's got a belly. I'm gonna go 14.
I'm gonna say 15.
All right. And whoever wins gets $100 from everybody.
Well, she'd be winning it.
How much is it?
15.31.
15.
I was saying on the hard side. It's that big belly.
Nice, that's that belly.
There you go.
Today was a very cool day to see firsthand how many fish are actually in our rivers. And I'm not going to lie, it makes me want to get out there right now and catch more of them. So if you fish Maryland, make sure you keep all the bluefish. That really helps the bay. So thanks for watching, and if you care about the bay like I do, make sure you hit that subscribe button. I got more coming. We got some fishing, crabbing, and cooking segments. Okay, I will see you on the next one.